Hey, this is George Lopez. Shout it out loud, cast, Tom and Zeus. If ever I met you, I never would see you cry. If not for the first hello, we'd never have to say goodbye.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons. Put that cookie down. Kiss. I'm pressing the button. Stockbroker Simmons. Star? Paul Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. Ace Frehley. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh, no. Here come the kiss times. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what are you talking about? 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. Episode 326, Kiss Fans and Podcast with Mike Brandvold.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we always
you guys are so mean.
We always give sneak peek to our Patreons.
Yeah.
And just from the feedback from that alone.
Yep.
Yeah, the comments we got. Yikes.
Oh, this is not the kind of episode you do when you're starting off as a Kiss. This is the kind of episode you do when you're 300 plus episodes into a Kiss podcast.
Or you're wrapping it up.
Yeah, exactly. Could be it's our end of the road tour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yep.
Anyways, Tom will have Mike on in a little bit.
Yep.
Last week we had the great Brian Tichy on.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and I think I think he's still talking on the other line.
Yep.
But regardless, we had some fun with him, and we also did a poll.
Yes, we did. So, of course, Brian is touring with the Gene Simmons Band. So, fun quiz, fun poll this week. Which of these 70s Kiss songs should Gene add to his set list? And we pretty much talked about a bunch of these with Brian when he was on. So the options this week were Larger Than Life, Got Love for Sale, Two Timer, and Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. And Larger Than Life in a runaway here, 46%. Love 'Em, Leave 'Em at 29%. Got Love for Sale at 16%. Two Timer at 9%. Now, in my opinion, there's no wrong answers there. Our buddy Glenn Barth, all of them. But since I can only pick one, Larger Than Life, a deep cut that's so deep it would count as two deep cuts. Our buddy Jeff Kinsley wants Gene to play something from the Asshole album. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, although I'd love to see that too. Our buddy Steve, any would be great. Got Love for Sale's a personal favorite deep cut. Yes, it is, Steve. And then Smith Cool writes in caps 6 times Great Expectations. If you wrote that 66 times, I don't think it's going to matter, but I appreciate your efforts there. And let's take a look at some comments regarding the episode itself. Brian was so awesome. Dave Arsenal, Brian talking about Neil's drums literally have goosebumps listening. Love it. Jim Polo chimes in again this week, Zeus. Hey guys, Jim Polo here. Do you like Brian Tichy? Hashtag, how do we get great drummers on our show too? I don't know what he's referring to, but once again.
You notice how I say, that's got to be John Whiteman. He never denies it.
That's true. That is true. That's a good point. Well, let's see if he denies it this week. Nobody has come forward yet with that, but
yeah.
Our buddy Steve, how do Tom and Zeus get all the best guests on their show? They have the perfect mixture of news, chat, and humor. Every episode is like a conversation with friends, and the laughs never stop. You two are just the very best. Thank you both for all you do.
Who is that?
That's our buddy Steve Warsap. That's almost comment of the week.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is that a burner account of either you or me or something?
It's got to be, because nobody would ever say anything good about us. It's got to be a burner account, right?
Yeah. No, It's the opposite. If someone says something negative about you, it has to be a burner account, because it can't be real.
Right. Well, because everybody it's impossible for people to not like us.
Well, I can give you a tongue bath, like if you want, and to my co-host if you want. I can do that all day and say how awesome you are.
Do me a favor. Take a couple minutes and tell me how great of a guy I am. Come on.
And why people want to come on our show because it
would really help me. It would help me get through my day.
Yeah, we'll get into all the little comments we're doing here and why they're being made. You guys out there are fantastic. We love you. But a lot of our listeners love to send us stuff, and it's just whatever. Funny. Just whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. But anyways, that's what we got for Twitter this week, Zeus.
See how that works? That's good. Because they're going to be mad. Like someone's going to be like, what are they saying? Oh, I got to listen.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Good luck and listen. You're going to love it.
Yeah. Over on the Book of Face. And by the way, before I get into the comments on Facebook, the episode made it to number 72 episode in music in the United States on Apple Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
good stuff.
Yeah. That's because you, the listeners.
Yes.
Aaron Nierenberg, you should have him back. Brian Tichy Part 2, The Real Boogaloo. Oh, boy. Kevon Japson.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Great conversation. He's a legend on the drums. Amazing. But being a Patreon member, how do I not know about this tally tier? What the fuck, guys? Dude, you are definitely banished from any part of tally. Will fucking get sued for all sorts of sexual assaults from the internet with you in the tally tier.
Oh, jeez. Poor Kevon.
Oh, what tally?
He must get tired filling out those change of address sex offender registration forms every time he moves.
Hi, I'm Kevon Japson. I live next door. I'm legally obligated to notify you. Oh, Kevin Northern got to see Brian with the Dead Daisies in Huntington, West Virginia show on the Freedom to Rock tour.
Us too.
We ain't go not in fucking West Virginia.
Well, no, but on the Freedom to Rock tour.
Sometime after the show, he put out a video on their social media that he filmed at the show during soundcheck. I believe that's where he played 5 iconic drum intros. It was given away an autographed pair of gig-used drumsticks to the first person correctly named all 5 songs. I was lucky enough to win them. Not sure if he did that at every show, but it was cool to be able to snag those. Thanks again to Brian and to you, the podcast, for another great episode. Oh, that's a good story.
Nice.
Man.
That's cool. I love stories like that when people have cool interactions with guests. That's pretty cool.
Anthony, don't call me Mike Hunt. Great stuff. I had the pleasure of meeting Brian at the Dead Daisy show when they were in Australia with Kiss. He was a lovely guy. I wish I'd gotten into more Kiss talk with him. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he definitely does. That's cool.
Glenn Barth, one of my favorite episodes ever. Brian's stories, along with discussing techniques in his breakdown of Peter's style, was incredible. Yeah. He really makes you appreciate Peter's work and approach on the original versions of Kiss songs. Sure, I like the heavier sound with Carr and Singer because that's what I want in the 80s and 90s, but Brian brought us back to remember why we love this band in the first place.
Great point.
And then he adds, P.S. I hope they get the opportunity to meet you, both of you, in Las Vegas. We'll be there, and we'll have some sort of announcement of where and how Loudcasters can get together while we're there. So we'll definitely get a chance to meet Glenn. And thanks.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
Let's go to Loudcasters. Kevin Linton puts a photo of him shaking hands with Nick Simmons. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Brian Tichy. Brian is an awesome drummer and super nice. I met him 2016 with the Daisies Open for Kiss on the Freedom to Rock tour. Okay.
A lot of people did, I think.
BC Allison, as always, great episode, Tom and Zeus. Very enjoyable to listen to Brian's perspective on Kiss and his introduction to drumming at an early age by Peter Criss. As a drummer myself, his backstory actually made me well up a little. I could totally relate to this. As a 6-year-old in 76, I would build drum sets out of whatever I could find. Garden pots, cans, buckets, and even covered Frisbees with tinfoil so I'd have cymbals. Nice. Just so I could be like Peter. It's so cool to hear Brian's fairy tale story of making dreams jump from Kiss fan to Kiss drummer, so to speak. And you guys conduct the best interviews. Great question. Great dialogue. Love it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Greek Thunder Down Under, Thanis Akratides. Fantastic interview, boys. Brian was a blast. The Kiss fandom was passionate and illuminating, no doubt. Very appreciative of his playing with Gene, one of his heroes. He has a great catalog of quality bands, which he's played in, notably Whitesnake and the Dead Daisies. These kind of episodes are a great balance, which gives your podcast the edge on many shows because of the in-depth interviews and comments made by real Kiss fans, and this happened to be Brian himself. Thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Acavano. Ugh. Joey Tight Jeans Romanek Hall of Famer.
I like to call him Joey Slim Fit Romanek. He ain't buying relaxed fit jeans. He's going for those slim fits.
Yeah, they give him like wicked bad floods. He wears his Crocs with.
And then he can show off his designer realtor socks that he wears.
Good Lord. I had the chance to see Brian several years ago at Dean Guitar's event. There were a number of Dean Guitars and drum artists there. When it was Brian's turn to sit with the band, he brought an intensity and power that every drummer that has played after him tried to match. None of them were successful at it. To me, He owned the event. And it's cool to see how he went from Kiss fan in the 70s to touring with the band as an open act, then to playing with a few of the members, both live and in studio. Well, thanks for the comment there, Stubbles.
Stubbles Romanek checking in.
John Whiteman.
Oh,
another great interview. I love the Neil Peart. Am I saying it right, Tom?
No, it's Neil Peart.
Okay. I love the Neil Peart story. It gave me goosebumps imagining how Brian must have felt. But as a rush tard, it was very cool to hear about someone interacting with Neil on such a personal level and then not being awkward. Just two drummers talking shop. Playing with Gene would be amazing, but connecting Neil like that, even for a few minutes, would be life-changing.
Nice.
Gordon Duncan.
Yeah.
Interviews like this is what sets you apart for sure. Brian definitely shared his I can't believe I'm playing with my hero feelings, but he shared so much more. He gave a sense of creating playlists, formation of the band, what rehearsals are like, and he also gave us a glimpse on his connection with other musicians without name dropping. I didn't realize he played with so many folks. I was a Vinnie Moore fan back in the day. Also, I thought I heard a faint strum of non-amplified guitars a couple of times. Mm-hmm. Then you guys shared that he had a guitar in his hand the whole time. Mm-hmm. Great get, Tom and Zeus. I know more interviews are coming, and I'm ready for them.
Nice,
yep, that was the guitar that he had in his hand that he was playing along while it was on his lap throughout the whole interview.
It was kind of like his own personal fidget spinner while he was talking with us.
Yeah, yep. Let's go now over to YouTube. The Hand 4564. Brian Tichy's a great guest and interview. What a great guy and gentleman. Yeah, guys, I mean, sharing stuff that he was telling us about the set list and all that other stuff. Oh, he got into way more details off the record. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yep.
Pretty Boy Floyd DMS. Vinny saving Kiss is a lot like saying Vinny saved Joni Loves Chachi.
Hey, somebody had to.
By the way, the guy that suggested Vinny should hook up with Corey MJ Feldman may be onto something. Can you imagine Corey doing Beat It with Vinny on guitar? Priceless.
I still love that urban legend that somebody said that Joni Loves Chachi was banned over in Asia because the slang word for cock is Chachi.
Yeah.
So over in Japan, the show was called Joni Loves Cock, so they couldn't friggin' show it.
Maybe she does. Who knows, dude? Over to you, buddy.
All right, let's look at what we got on Instagram this week. The Emigrant says, the dude who said Tommy did more to save Kiss than Vinny is one of those same dudes that will defend ideas like the $50,000 vinyl shit. Love the interview with Brian Tichy. Yes.
Hey, that's part of the discussion we will have.
Yes.
Kiss fans, and that's a niche. That's a type of Kiss fan. They can do no wrong.
Yep. Daniel DeGasperi. Great. I enjoyed it 100%. Well, that's good. We want 100%. Lynn 2723, love Brian. Dave Rockstar, fantastic interview, guys. Always great to hear the opinions and insights from a real touring professional musician.
Ooh.
I didn't read it that way, but maybe you interpret that how you want to. He was so respectful to Peter, Carr, and Singer, also explaining their different styles. Yes, that was great. Abusement.
Oh, no.
Identify yourself, by the way. You guys say you're not musicians, but you managed to ask the questions that every musician would want to know. From set list decisions, rehearsals, to personal favorite song, you covered so much and answered everything I was hoping for. And because of Zeus, I can no longer hear anyone say TikTok without blurting motherfucker. I sound like a kiss tard with Tourette's. I love it.
Yeah, so we don't ask people like that, come on, like hard-hitting questions like, say Kiss.
No, we would. That's we don't have time for questions like that. That's too sophisticated. Sonor guy says, how do I listen to this podcast? All I'm getting is the song Parasite.
So
what?
What is
on
that?
The
Instagram post, you can play music for the background of the post. So I picked Parasite because that was the song that he kept talking about,
TikTok
right?
does the same. You can play a background song.
Yeah, so that's just playing in the background.
Right.
But he must, when we post the story, which goes up for 24 hours, is a link to the episode.
Yep.
And also in the episode itself, on the bottom language, if you read through, it'll say, to listen to this podcast, go to our profile and you'll see a link to our.
Okay. All right. I misunderstood what the hell that thing was all about, but okay. Clark Side of the Moon. I'm always impressed by your interviews with musicians. What seems to be a common theme with most of these guys, and Brian Tichy is a perfect example, is how genuine, humble, and kind they are. What a great talent and a great guy. Awesome job as always, TNZ. Well, thank you, Clark Side of the Moon. And we're going to go over and read one of our emails this week from our buddy Craig Moran. Craig, fire away with your DMs that you send me all the time. I love talking with you, buddy. So, hey guys, awesome episode. Just before Tom mentioned it, I was thinking, this guy is like the Energizer Bunny. I'm sure it's good for you guys when a guest is super talkative. When listing guys to put in a room, you should have mentioned Matt Pinfield.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
By the way, Craig, Matt Pinfield is still alive. You didn't have to refer to him as the late, great Matt Pinfield.
God bless him.
God bless him. He's still alive.
Twice.
Yes.
He was in a coma. He got hit by a car years ago. A truck.
This guy,
he's fucking.
He's like a fucking. Man. He's like a Marvel Avenger.
Yes. Yes. Good for him.
As he grew up one town over from where I now live, I know guys who went to high school with Brian. They have nothing but great stuff to say about him. He mentioned Larger Than Life in your discussion. He actually plays drums on a version of that with Pantera's Rex Brown on bass and vocals and Bumblefoot on guitar. It sounds awesome. Wow, that probably does sound awesome. My favorite project he's been involved with is Pride and Glory. I've totally forgot about that. Zach Wild's Southern Rock project from the 90s. Damn, I totally forgot about that. I wish I would have asked him about that. Good call, Craig. As always, already waiting for your next great episode. Zeus, let's throw it back to you to finish up feedback this week.
All right, so we're going to go to Facebook, and we're going to go to the great Bobby Kenner. What an incredible interview with Brian. This is a testament of how on top of the world you guys are. You have a great show with any guest, and then you bring on amazing people to have conversation with, and it just adds to it. Brian has always been a beast on the drum kit, but his takes on Peter's playing, some career highlights, and the technical aspects of drumming were so cool to hear. I can't wait to see what Brian and that awesome band on stage with Gene in Kentucky in a week. Also, Zeus, those Samuel L. Jackson sound bites never get old.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Well, you get that play in your honor, Bobby, because you, my friend, are comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I thought, what do you think? We're going to be watching you.
Good stuff, Bobby. Always love your support, my friend. Thank you. Love it.
Thanks, Bobby. All right, Tom. Speaking of thank you, we got to start thanking our Patreon family again.
That's right.
And a longtime friend of the show, new Spaceman addition to our Patreon family, Cameron Johnson joins us.
Yeah, welcome to the party, pal.
And I believe Cameron is in Australia. So thank you from the land down under. And we so appreciate you, Cameron. You've been a good listener and commenter on our show for years. We appreciate you joining the family. We know you're going to like it. And we can't thank the rest of you guys enough as well. Patreon is where you subscribe and help out the show monetarily. And there are 4 different tiers, so find one that fits your needs, and you get perks back. So you can get merch, which is like either sometimes T-shirts, stickers, guitar picks, koozies, which for you in Australia means something that holds your drink and keeps it cold.
Yep.
Anyway, you get that. You get poll involvement. You get video chats. We have one coming up next week for all the Demon Tier members.
Yep.
So make sure you join Demon Tier members. You can get on that call. We have also just the ARC stuff. There's tons of stuff. So if you want to be involved and help out the show and be a big contributor to the success of Shout It Out Loudcast, please join the Shout It Out Loudcast Patreon family. And you do that by going to the website, shoutitoutloudcast.com.
Go to him.
Right on the landing page, it'll say Patreon. Go join right there and become part of the family and help the show. We appreciate you. Thank you, Cameron, and thank you, Patreon family.
Thank you, Patreon. You guys are the best. Special thanks this week to Cameron Johnson, your longtime support. Welcome to the family, my friend. Like Zeus said, please check us out. Go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. Click on the Patreon link. 4 different tiers. Each one offers something fun and different. And anything that you can do to continue to support us, we greatly appreciate it. And for the month of June, that will be our Patreon ARC pick. So right now it's May 1st. We're recording on Thursday. In a few weeks, we'll be putting out that poll to see what Patreon ARC album we review for the month of June. So get in on that. And again, eternally grateful for all the things that you guys do for us. Thank you.
And so before we get into the news segment, this is somewhat a little bit of news and involves sometimes our Patreon, our regular listeners, and everything else. We have something coming up, which if any of you want to get involved, we're only going to tease you a little bit with this stuff. If you do, you know where to find us. So tell us you want to get involved. And part of it is a poll. So if you want to be involved in this poll, email us at shoutitoutloudcast. Give us your name, right? And put that you want to be involved in that. And then you will be on the list. And we're going to try to cut it down. We already got a bunch of people so far. So not everybody can get in on this. But if you want to get in on this, and I think you're going to want to, email us at shoutitoutloudcast.com and tell us you want to be involved. And we'll certainly let you know. And we appreciate any and all that are interested in doing so. And that's the tease for now. There'll be way more to talk about in the future. But anyway, Tom, let's go to Kiss World. What's going on there?
Okay, so as usual, every time we record on a Wednesday, Thursday is breaking news day. But we record a weekly show. We don't go live to report that the sun has come up. We don't do that. So the big news last week was Peter making a special announcement that he's recording an album coming out in the fall, I guess, which is exciting. It kind of smells like the 10,000 volts thing. You got a guy who's, older and he's going to be supported by a bunch of musicians, a bunch of professionals. So let's hope for the best from Peter. That's great. And then, of course, all the rumors start coming out. Is he going to be part of Kiss Storms Vegas in November? Probably not. And then on top of the announcement of Peter's album, there was a performance, some kind of a drummers convention or some kind of drummer event. Peter was there.
He was honored for his charity work.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Thank you. He looked good. I mean, the guy's pushing 80, looked good, got up and sang a couple songs, not really Kiss songs, saying like a little help for my friends, some Beatles shit or whatever, looks good. Let's hope for the best. Nice to see him out and about and active. That's what everybody wants. So that was obviously huge. The other big thing is Bruce made an official announcement, or Kiss Storms Vegas made an official announcement that Bruce Kulick will be performing in the Unmasked Kiss show with Paul, Gene, and Tommy at the event in November. So I'll be honest with you, I thought it was going to be like Bruce and like the Bruce Kulick band, but now that he's going to be sitting in with Paul and Gene and Tommy, that's exciting. Love to see that. So that's great. And kind of the last big thing of news was they kind of jumped the gun on the 45th anniversary merch for Unmasked. They dropped a bunch of stuff. I guess there was some fuck up, so they pulled it back and then re-released it. One thing that they did new for the first time, and again, the Kiss never ceases to amaze me with their brilliance. In order to be the first people eligible to buy these special anniversary merch items, you have to be a Kiss Army member, and you have to log in with your username and password, and then it will allow you to add the items to your cart. Then a few days later, they release them to the public. So it's like concert tickets and you get like a pre-sale code. So that's kind of the new thing now. You need to be a Kiss Army member to jump on this. They did pretty much the same thing. Picture disc bundles, colored vinyl bundles, some really cool new merch, whether or not you like Unmasked or not. And then they re-released all the stuff from 5 years ago for the 40th anniversary. We had a lot of people asking us about that T-shirt that I actually own, the one where Eric Carr's face is blacked out. We talked about that when it was released 5 years ago. So Zeus, for the first time in a while, a little bit of things to talk about in Kiss World.
Yeah, I would say I did end up getting one of those Unmasked T-shirts alone.
I like it.
Yeah, there is a T-shirt of just Gene and Paul on Unmasked.
I don't know why they did that, but yeah,
that's out there.
Yep.
But these things don't matter to me. There's no new music, so I'm not a vinyl collector. So they're not. It doesn't mean anything. I look at the merch if there's anything cool.
Yeah.
I did buy one T-shirt, and that's good enough for me. But
I like
else,
the T-shirt.
You like it? You like it? Great.
I like the thing I like about the T-shirt, to be honest with you, is I like that the images of each of the four faces are the images from the comic book album cover. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit unique. And then on the back is the Kiss Unmasked logo within the track listing. So again, if you're into merch, I think you're going to love this. If you're not, it's not going to change your mind. But it's a creative thing. It's not just, the album cover.
Yeah, I paid extra, and Shandy is not listed as a track on the back.
You had it blacked out. Good for you. Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah. Some cool stuff, But as always, half of it's already up on fucking eBay, for like quadruple the price, which sucks.
Yeah, I saw that. Unbelievable.
Yeah, bullshit. But so some stuff to talk about. Keep an eye on Peter and his activities. So
yeah. All right. Well, Tom, let's take a quick little break.
Stop. Don't talk anymore. I've been looking at the. Hello?
That's me every time. I don't know if that fucking gets me. Hello?
Hello?
Anyway, Tom, we're going to bring in Mike Brandvold from Three Sides of the Coin. We talk about it, for a while there, between the Vegas stuff and just running podcasts for now 7 years. Like, we want to do one episode about this podcast and Kiss fans. And we're like, Mike Brandvold is the perfect guy in there because to many of you out there, he's a villain.
Yeah.
To many of you out there. And to some people, maybe Tom and I are villains. Or maybe others, maybe the footy pajama people are the villains. Right. Who knows? But we wanted to have a fun discussion and, lighthearted kind of talk about everything. People, don't get your fucking panties in a bunch. You know,
they will.
Especially the ones that listen to us that are Loudcasters. We love you guys. You guys rock. But there are stuff that we wanted to get out there and have a discussion. And I'm glad we brought Mike on board for it. Right.
Yeah, and feel free to get your panties in a bunch. It's fine. And you know, I was joking that this is kind of like a springtime version of Festivus. It's not really. It's more of kind of like a State of the Union with everything that's going on with Kiss fans, Kiss Facebook groups, Kiss comments, Kiss podcasts, just the whole subculture of Kiss fandom and how it's evolved over the years since we started our podcast, since Three Sides started their podcast, and you know, it's something that we're into as podcasters and Kiss fans, and we know Mike is too. So, you know, you guys might be saying, "Going, I can't believe you guys are doing this." Well, guess what? We are.
Yeah, the reason being is we're giving you a sneak peek behind the curtains of what it's like to run a podcast and have your social media and be involved with so many people involved with being a Kiss fan. And Mike is no different. So, without further ado, here is Mike Brandvold.
All right, this week returning solo is the host of Three Sides of the Coin. You know him. You love him? I don't know. We're going to find out.
You hate him.
You hate him maybe, but either way, he's here with us. Mike Brandvold. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
How you guys doing?
All right.
So we
got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we were like, okay, there's so much going on, and we've had this, and we were like, we're going to do a podcast just about Kiss fans and podcasts and what we deal with on our end and stuff. Like, who the hell should we get for this? Dude, the perfect guy who's been dealing with this shit more than us.
Way more than us.
And he will not hold back. Like, let's get Mike on. So thank you for coming and thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure,
Thank you,
guys.
Mike. Thank you.
So as you know, we have both of us have podcasts. You guys, I say it all the time. My thing with Tom, I always say, "Oh, Kiss podcast," you know, because we don't do the YouTube stuff. Like, we're the number one Kiss podcast. But if you go overall with YouTube, I'm like, you got to bow down to Three Sides. They fucking kill all of us.
Yep.
And it's true. I mean, I will say that your YouTube shit is right up there with big music podcasts, not just Kiss podcasts. And you guys have been at the game for a while. You're one of the few podcasts that I will take my time to listen to. But like with everything,
why? I don't even listen to our podcast.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. Well, when I see like some of the topics, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, you said it because I watched last week's episode, or is it this week's? Like
This week's
this will make
the newest one. Trust us. The headline. Trust us. Just hit the stop and don't.
Yeah, I love that.
So you're absolutely right. That makes me go, all right, this is going to be fucking stupid. I got to listen. And you guys are still killing it. I listened to your Sebastian episode. That was fucking awesome. You got to bow down to that stuff. There's no problem like having friendly competition or people that you like that do the same stuff. It's all right. You guys have been killing it for years. Some stuff we like, some stuff we don't like. It is what it is. But you've been dealing with this stuff a lot longer than we have. And you've kind of gotten a little bit of a reputation, and I see it firsthand because you come on our group, right? Our Loudcasters Facebook group.
Do I stir the pot over there?
Stir some shit up once in a while. But you deal with Kiss fans. And we were in the beginning, and I just got to put this out there, and then I want to hear your comment. We were in the beginning, we're like, we're not going to be like Three Sides. We're not banning people. We're not going to kick people out. We're not doing this shit. We're not saying get the fuck out. Buddy,
that didn't last long.
We hit the point that we're like, get the fuck out.
I see people, not just in the Kiss world, just other podcast groups. Everybody out there is like, oh, we're going to be complete free speech. Everything's going to go. And I'm like, let's see. Let's check back in 1 week and see how that's going. And I can guarantee you every single outlet out there starts doing it because the shit just gets too
you have to
fucking much to deal with.
Yep.
And I always looked at it, it's like, it's our fucking home.
Yep.
You're allowed to come into our home. You disrespect me in my home, you're gone. And there's no conversations. There's no discussing it. There's no warnings. I just got no time. Excuse me. I got no time for it. I mean, all of us, our lives are busy. Who's got time for that sort of, let's be honest, petty, stupid, childish drama?
Yeah, it's true. And that's kind of where the whole Kiss fandom in general, and then Kiss podcast fandom in comes in. Is like, we've had issues where we've had to post in our groups, and I know you guys have done it too, where it's like, free speech does not exist in Shout It Out Loudcasters Facebook group. If you say something stupid or something that we don't like, you're going to be blocked, or you're going to be banned, or you're going to be suspended. And then we have those people who will then go to another group. Oh, Tom and Zeus, they're fucking Nazis. They won't let me say that Paul fucking sucks and all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, if that's what you guys want to do, good. I know that there's a group of you that love to do that, but you're not going to do it here. And then we become labeled as haters.
Well, here's the thing that a small group of the Kiss fans out there have never understood from the day one Three Sides started is, if you want to go to somebody else's group and talk crap about us and talk shit about us and say how much you hate the shit, please do that.
Yeah.
Do that all you want. Because what are you doing? You're giving us free marketing and promotion. You
100%.
Are talking about us. As Gene and Paul have said since day one, you can love us, you can hate us. We don't care. Just get out of the middle. It's the people who don't care one way or another.
100%.
That's the ones I'm like, how do I make them love me or hate me? Because once you're doing one of those two things, you're going to talk. And you can go out and talk all you want. You can go hang out in the cesspool and say anything you want. We haven't been in that cesspool. We don't have accounts.
I don't have an account either, Tom.
I closed my account there probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And haven't been back to post.
Yeah.
But inevitably, every single week, there's another thread starting up about talking about this show sucks and we hate them so much. And why does anybody listen to it? And I tell you guys this in all honesty.
Yeah.
All of us on Three Sides sit back and laugh our asses off at that going, are you really once again yelling and screaming how much you hate the show? And now it's going to be the most talked about thread for the next week until we do something else that drives. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't have done that on my own.
Mike, it's come full circle for us. So we've been doing this, 6-7 years, 300 plus episodes, whatever. And it's now reached that point where because we don't bow down to Kiss, because we don't think that everything they do is absolutely perfect and amazing, because we criticize, because we say that stuff sucks or that stuff is stupid or that Kiss sucks and Pop House sucks or whatever, we're given these labels and people have called us, petty and jealous and haters. And this goes on in groups and on other podcasts. And I told Zeus, I love it. And exactly why you said it, Mike. Paul and Gene said it at the beginning of Kiss Extreme Close-Up, I think. Paul's like, if you love us, great. If you hate us, that's great too. If you're in the middle, get out. That's 100% true. And we can't control how these people feel. You can't please everybody. And I'll be completely honest with you. When we first started, it was kind of a shock to us that we're like, oh, wait, people don't love everything we're doing. Oh, okay, so this is how it's going to be. So we adapted, and now everybody else is adapting too. But that's how it has to be.
Yeah. It really has to, when we started Three Sides, I had plenty of experience before that, whether it was Kiss Online and Kiss Otaku. I mean, I've been in the Kiss online internet world since 1995. Okay.
Right. Yep.
I mean, honest to God, dark ages of the internet.
I remember Kiss.
We graduated in 95. We didn't even have internet or email then.
Yeah. I mean, that was before YouTube existed. Social media didn't exist.
Yep.
Yahoo was just still starting out in some guy's dorm room in Stanford University. I mean, it was pre everything you take for granted now.
Right.
So I've been dealing with this online world for a long fucking time. Now, when I first started in it, it was like, this is, wow, they hate me. Oh, do I try and solve the problem here? And it by the time I got to running Kiss Online, it was like, no, you can't worry. You can't do that. And so by the time we launched Three Sides of the Coin, I had experience of dealing with that. Tommy didn't. Mitch at the time didn't. Mark didn't. Obviously, Lisa didn't. But I was just like, we have to be completely honest and transparent. That's it.
100%.
And you can't, us as a podcast, but all podcasts, all creative people, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, to us doofuses right here. You can't even think about trying to please everybody.
No,
absolutely. Because it's 100% impossible to do that.
First of all, it's 100% impossible, but it also comes off, in my opinion, and I'm not speaking for Zeus or the show, and I'm speaking for myself. Not only can you not do it, but when you try to do it, it comes off as quite pathetic looking, in my opinion.
It comes
because
off
it's not
real.
Because it's not real. That's not how human beings behave. So when you do it, you're doing it so that you are going to be liked by the masses. And then all that does is that, to me, that neuters your product, that neuters your content.
Exactly. Now, it's a natural thing for most people when you start doing anything for the public that you want to make everybody happy. You want people to like you and your work.
That's your goal.
Again, having years of dealing with this, I've learned you can't do that. And I'll be honest, too, decades of listening to Gene and Paul give interviews, subconsciously impacted me. It impacts all of us. And it's just like, those guys always said, don't worry about pleasing other people. Don't worry about your parents. Don't worry about the preachers. Don't worry about the suits. Do what you want to do that makes you happy. That's it. And as we started Three Sides of the Coin, I was quickly seeing that, we started off with this newest episode where I said, hit the stop button. It sucks. Don't even watch it. It's a train wreck. But inevitably, and we joke about this all the time, inevitably somebody's going to go, that was the best fucking discussion you guys ever had.
Yep.
And we're like, thank you. We didn't necessarily think it was our best work.
Right.
But if you loved it, great. Now, here's what I'm saying is why you can't please people. So if we sat down and said, well, that episode sucks so bad, let's analyze and change what we didn't like about it. Okay. What's the first thing that's going to happen? Well, the person that did love that episode is now going to hate the next one.
Right.
And maybe a person that hated you might love it, but let's be honest, if somebody hates you so much, they don't give a crap one way or another.
Right.
It goes back to that amazing scene in Howard Stern's Private Parts movie.
I sent this clip to Zeus the other day. I know what you're going to say.
Where they're like, we did a survey, and here's the people who love Howard listen for X amount of minutes a day, but the people that hate Howard listen twice as much, and they're like, their heads are exploding.
How
the
is
program.
that?
Why? Why are they doing that? Because they want to know what they're going to say next, and it comes down to that. So if somebody hates you so fucking much, and getting them to switch from hate to love is very difficult in anything in this world.
Yep.
Because it's a very fine line. It's easy to make somebody who loves you hate you.
Yep.
Doesn't take a lot of effort to piss somebody off, to move them to that other side. But once they hate you, getting them back to loving you is pretty tough. But if they're still, Hey, cesspool, thank you guys. Every week you're listening to us as much as you hate us. Why? Because you want to know what the fuck we're going to say next.
Yep.
So just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Be completely honest and transparent in what you say, so you don't ever have to have an issue defending what you say, because it's just our opinions. And just let it go as it goes out there, and it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, you, the podcast creator, the musician, are the only person that has to live with that piece of work you created the rest of your life. You know, your listeners don't have to live with it. They can hit the stop button and walk away.
Yeah.
But for all of eternity, our podcast episodes, all of ours, are going to be out there with our names on it.
That's right.
Unless we delete them. But even then, we know it's damn hard to get something completely removed from the internet. So it's there. So my attitude is, if I am happy with what I created, what I said, then I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks out there. And that goes from the person I've never met to band members. I don't care. We don't. We don't care. And it's, you know, we have the right to say what we want, but we're also very clear about saying these are just our opinions. These are the opinions of 3 or 4 knuckleheads on 3 sides of the coin. You sure don't have to agree with our opinions. And we aren't going to get pissed at you if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. It's our opinion. It's, you know, we used to spend a lot of time reminding people we're not a factual podcast. Now, saying that, sure, there's times where we will clarify information and get information and release it, but we're not a news outlet.
Right.
You don't come to us for news.
Right.
You come to us for commentary on news.
That's right.
And commentary is a big word like gymnasium. It just means opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right, Mike. So a couple things on that theory. You guys are yourselves, like it or not. So sometimes you might be warm and cuddly, and sometimes you might be, you know, curmudgeons about certain things. Hey, we know that Mike likes Crazy Nights. We know that Mark doesn't, right? So we all have our opinions. But the thing that I like is that's the way you guys say things. Tom and I are the same. People know I can't stand Shandy, and I think it's the worst song in the Kiss catalog. That's fine. I'm not fake to make people listen. Tom isn't fake. If you fake shit to try to be nice and be like, oh, well, we'd really like to have Bruce on the show, so let's just say this song is good. Like, you can't do that. If you lie, it's hard to remember which song you liked and which song you didn't like. The truth is easy to remember, right?
The truth, your honest truth/opinion is very easy to defend.
Exactly. You won't forget it. You know exactly.
You'll never forget it. It's, you know, it's just like, but also let's be honest here. When it comes to music, there is no right or wrong in any opinion bit of music. Every single song by every single artist out there is just a matter of personal opinion for everybody. So you don't have to defend anything to anybody, which sort of makes the stirring the pot easier, because when I come out and make a comment about Crazy Nights, I don't have to defend my comment.
Right.
And it drives people nuts. They can spend hours trying to convince me with all the stats and data and other opinions that I'm wrong. And it's just like, keep it up. It's just your time. You're wasting your time.
Right.
I mean, it's an opinion. I like this song. You don't like that song. End of story. There really is no more discussion that has to be made around anything musically at that point. But fans, we know, are very passionate about what they love and what they hate.
And when it comes to Kiss,
and I will say, I say this all the time. It's not just Kiss. I'm deep in the
there's a
world.
special thing with Kiss, though.
I'm deep in the Wasp world. I'm deep in the Foghat world. I see this stuff, the same stuff, over and over amongst other bands. It's out there all over.
I can tell you right now, I'm in a few Metallica groups. The world of Metallica pre and post Black Album, I work with people who can't listen to half of the Metallica catalog because it's not real Metallica. It's I can't believe you like the friggin' Reload album. That's terrible. I'm like, well, I like it, but I also like Master of Puppets. You can do both. But like you said, I'm not going to get into a pissing match with you. If you want to have a fun conversation, fine. But I'm not going to go blast you on some Metallica message board because you think Reload sucks.
It does nothing for my life to try and change your mind about what you think of some music.
And plus, you're not going to change my mind.
And I'm not. And that's the whole point.
That's the thing. You're not going to.
You're not going to. I've said it so many times. Right. I'm like, listen, I have loved Crazy Nights since it was released, first released. Does anybody honestly think that they could sit down today in 2025 and try and convince me that what I've thought for decades was wrong, and that all of a sudden today I'm going to change my mind because Zeus just said it sucks? God, right. Zeus, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking for fucking decades here about loving this, but you know what? You opened my eyes to the dude.
I have that effect. Yeah.
That doesn't happen with any band, artist, song, anything out there. So again, I'll sit back and just like, hey, it's your life. Waste it all you want.
But what also works with that is
your wife.
People get to know when you guys have these opinions and same here with us. When you have a show and they know that you'll put the bold statement out there. You're not scared to say something and have strong opinions, and you're not fake about it. People, I think, like you or don't like you, they respect you because now they know what you're saying is actually something you believe in and you can articulate it. And
that's important.
That's what podcasting is. Tom and I have this conversation with a lot of people. So I'm sure you get this too. We have a lot of people that were listeners for us at some point go, you know what? I want to start a podcast. Any help? And we've helped out a shit ton of podcasts get started. I don't know. Some of them, I assume, have gotten some success. Some maybe not. But when I tell them, and what we talk about, especially with Kiss podcast, is, look, tell me if I'm wrong. I believe that maybe Kiss has the most podcasts out there of any music artist. They probably have the most, okay? And if you have a Kiss podcast, there is a floor. You are going to get a certain number of listeners regardless. There's the same 100 people that listen to anything from
everything.
Kiss, right? And so it's the same podcasts have the same listeners, the same people making their comments. But you aren't going to grow that if your personality is not someone they want to listen to. So you can have that starter kit. Say, hey, I talk about Kiss. Yeah, there'll be 100 people who listen to you no matter how bad you are or how boring you are. But to grow, you have to be a personality that they want to listen to, like you or hate you. They have to have something there. And God bless you guys. You have personalities. And they either like you or hate you, but they want to listen to you.
Yep.
And that's what sells.
You know, like you, right from the beginning, we got a lot of people who were like, man, you've inspired me to do a podcast, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And you know what? That's great. I mean, that's not something when we started this podcast, we were like, let's try and do that. It's just like, holy shit, there's people that started podcasts because they listened to us and they would ask advice. And you know, and I've given talks at conventions about podcasting, especially at radio conventions. And people are always like, well, what's your advice to somebody who wants to start a podcast? You know, and it's quite simple. I'm like, first of all, don't spend any money to start this. I've seen way too many people go out and buy $5,000 worth of the most expensive top of the line gear. And then 3 episodes in, they realize this just isn't it for them. And now they're trying to sell this shit. I'm like, you can do a podcast for free with what you got. And honestly, the most I've spent in podcast gear is for this headset, which is a Bluetooth headset for $70.
Yep.
I'm like, nobody ever says I tune into this podcast every week because they got great gear.
Right.
Because that microphone is freaking amazing. Why do people tune in? Because a podcast has great content. So, and what makes great content? I'm like, here's the first and most important thing. If you're doing this with co-hosts, there's got to be great chemistry.
100%.
This is like, and before somebody accuses me of like, oh, well, you guys think you're a morning show. This is like a radio morning show.
Yep.
There has to be chemistry between the primary host, the co-host, the weather girl, the news person. There has to be a chemistry that goes on that at the end of the day, why, I always use Howard as an example. I don't listen to Howard anymore since he moved to Sirius XM, but when he was on terrestrial radio, I listened all the time.
Me too. Yep.
I listened to Howard because of Howard Stern and his crew.
Me too.
Now,
100%.
If he didn't have a guest, I still listened because I knew there was going to be some great fun and laughs. If he had a great guest, it was an even better show.
Mm-hmm.
So people tune in for that chemistry over and over and over. So you've got to get along with your co-host. You've got to be able to poke fun and rib on them and, all the stuff that, again, best friends do with each other. Yeah. But then the other most important thing is you have to be completely honest about what you say in your podcast. You can't be afraid to say something because it might offend somebody out there. If you're doing this and second guessing yourself every time you open your mouth, the show isn't going to be fun, isn't going to be natural, it isn't going to flow. You've got to just get comfortable with who you are, what you believe, and say it. And never hold back because it's like, ooh, that might piss off Paul Stanley if I say that. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. When we reviewed the new Off the Soundboard, I didn't hold back. Paul Stanley, your stage raps were horrendous, embarrassing.
Yep.
Terrible. What the fuck did we have to listen to all of you guys do solos? What a fucking waste.
Brutal.
Oh my God. You guys all played so fast. It was just like, slow down. What did any of us sit here and go, maybe we shouldn't say that because it might piss somebody off? We've never, ever done that. Because once you do that, your show is no longer on.
It's compromised.
You compromised it. Now people have the ability to question everything you say. Was that honest? Was that honest? Was that on? Listen, everything is honest, and you can take it or leave it. We just don't care.
So that's a good jumping off point for kind of another thing I wanted to bring up. Kind of a good segue, I guess, maybe, is this. And obviously social media, for all the great that social media has done, I think it's done equal amounts of terrible shit for dialogue and social behavior, quote unquote. But this mentality, and I think that's why our show is successful. You guys are successful. We've had this longevity. We have loyal listeners. We have people who hate us, who listen to us, just like you, Mike. That Howard Stern analogy. This mentality out there that you must like everything that Kiss does. You must like everything they release, every decision they make, every piece of merchandise they put out, everything that they're doing in Vegas in November. You must like that because if you don't, you are A, not a real Kiss fan, B, a troll, C, a hater, or all the above. And those are the reasons why I exactly think that our shows are successful, because we have always been authentic since day one, just like you, Mike. And we have never said that we've liked something for any other reason than we like it. And we've never said we've hated something for any other reason that we hated it. So when people hear us applaud something or hear us criticize something, they know that they're getting the truth from us. Not like Zeus says, it's not all sunshine and roses. Oh my God, this off the soundboard is amazing. I thought the last one was great. This one's even better.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And listen, that's just, in my opinion, should be a general philosophy for fans of every band about everything. You can be a fan of anything. I mean, it's not just music. You can be a fan of sports teams, of authors, of movie stars. But there's nothing that says to be a fan you are required to blindly love everything.
Yep.
To me, and I hate using the term real because
I know what you mean.
Who defines real?
Right.
Who gets to decide what real? There is no definition.
Right.
But to me, a fan should be able to say, I love you guys. I'm always in your corner. I've been there from day one. But you know what? There's some stuff you've done that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Carnival of Souls sucks. You know,
I like it, but I get that you don't like it.
But at the same time, somebody can sit here and go, Crazy Nights is a piece of shit.
Right.
That's great. You should be able to do that. You should be able to say what you like and what you don't like, because even the artists out there don't expect all their fans to love everyting they do.
Paul shits on half of his own catalog. Why can't I?
Why? Yeah, exactly. I mean, they hate The Elder. They weren't in love with Peter's first solo album.
Right.
I mean, some of them love, some of them hate Carnivals. It's like, that's great. I mean, everybody's got, again, a personal opinion about what they like, and you don't have to be blind about it, but you have to be comfortable to say, I like this and I don't like this, and here's why.
And
but
at the same time, go ahead.
I was going to say, but at the same time, we always are like, you know, we've always said, it's like, oh God, all these frickin' stupid Kiss action figures that keep coming out. I could never spend my money. But if that's what you love,
yes,
God bless you, and be happy with that and go out there and do that. It does nothing for me.
Right.
All of these vinyls that it's like, oh, you know what, yesterday or today, oh, Unmasked, you can get the picture disc, you can get the colored vinyl. I'm just like, I don't get this shit. No, I don't. I'm not doing that. If it's a different cover, if it's got some different content on the vinyl, then I'll get it. But you're just reselling the same shit that I've already got 6 times in my record shelves over here. It's like, I'm not buying it again. But if you love it, if you are a vinyl collector,
yep,
God bless you. That's
right.
Great. I got no issues with that.
I have this conversation with Tom all the time about vinyl. I bought all those CDs. I'm not fucking switching back to vinyl.
Yeah,
so I'm the
vinyl.
He's
geek.
the vinyl guy, and I'm always joking with him. Okay, you bought this in case you want to listen to something orange, right? Because it's the same fucking music on it, but now this one's colored orange. All right, but if he likes it, I'm not going to shit on him. I may tease him a little.
You tease me.
But that's it. But I don't give a fuck. And this is the thing that I always like blows my mind. There's so many different types of Kiss fans out there.
Oh,
You got the, like real nerdy type that are just Kisses, like an academic studies. Well, no, in 1977, Gene only wore that codpiece on the shows for that part of the tour to this, like, and it just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, I
have no use for that shit. I have no use for that, but God bless you if you do that. You have those kind of people. You have the other ones, just as Tom said about Metallica. Yeah, ever since, after the reunion, Fake Ace and fucking Cheater Chris and the shit, and I can only imagine it doesn't happen anymore in yours because you block them. The amount of Tommy hate and shit that gets posted on that I delete, and there's people that I like because they make nice, normal comments, and then they'll put up like all this homophobic gay shit with Tom and Paul, and I block them. And you know what they do? They go and bitch about us. Oh, Tom and Zeus can be funny with their shit, but they don't like it when we're trying to be funny.
That's
what
right.
Egos on those assholes.
Yep.
What egos, buddy? I don't want fucking homophobic shit.
Again, listen, it's your house. You make the rules.
That's
if
right.
Somebody wants to make fun of them, go do it in your own house. But here's the problem. Nobody's in their house.
That's right. They don't have a house.
They don't have a house, or nobody's hanging in their house. So nobody hears about it. So they try and glom onto you or us to get the attention. It's just like, sorry, it ain't going to work.
Yes, which leads to another fan. So every once in a while, I'm sure you get this. There'll be the fan that I'm going to be the next big thing in Kiss world. I'm going to post to 15 different Kiss podcast pages. Here's my new YouTube clip. I've done this. And they just bombard, and it's like they're doing the rounds. They're putting it up on it. Our show is not here to promote your show.
Nope.
And they get pissed because what I like to think, the smaller gigs will give them that airspace. Well, I want, when something goes on our page, I want it to be something Tom and I will agree with, even if it's the stupidest thing. But you know what? I think it's funny. I'll put it on. I don't want your latest thoughts and you ranked the solo albums and then you went and posted on 15 different. I'm sorry. We're not here to build your reputation, and we're not here to, give you credibility or anything like that. And they get pissed. We're assholes. Do you allow that shit on your site?
For the most part, in the Facebook group, I'll let people, as long as it's a respectful and mature post.
Yep.
And it's related to Kiss, go ahead and post it. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're better than us, because I can't do it. And I roll my eyes at some of them. I'm just like, oh, what a stupid post. But hey, go ahead. It's harmless. It's not gonna hurt anybody. And I let it go. I mean, because people used to want to get stuff posted on the page. And I was like, no, the page is us.
Correct.
The page is 100% us.
That's same here.
The Facebook group is like the new version of a message board.
Yep.
Everybody can do that as long as you follow our rules and keep it respectful and keep it mature and don't attack people. And by that, it means other fans and Tommy and Eric.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
You can't do that stuff. I mean, it's just, and if you don't like our rules, okay.
Now you're
welcome to go somewhere else and do it the way you want to do it.
Now there are certain things that Zeus and I will approve, and we'll text back and forth. I'm like, because we had to turn on. I don't know if you have this in your group. We had to turn on post approval for our group because our group was fucking going hog wild with incredibly stupid and offensive shit. So now every post we have to approve it. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's worked. So there'll be stuff that people will try to post, and Zeus and I'll send him. I go, look at this fucking clown that wants to post this. And I'll tell Zeus, I go, you know what? Let's allow it. Two things are going to happen. It's either going to land with a thud, and then they won't post again, or they'll just get viciously attacked by the rest of the Kiss fans out there, and he won't post it again. I said, if we decline it, that's going to kind of empower them to be like, oh, I got some hot shit here that they don't want to.
They're censoring me.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah, they're censoring me. Right. So sometimes we're like, go ahead, and then they'll just go tuck and run after they get bludgeoned by the rest of the Kiss fans.
Well, what about the other one that'll write to us? And I think you posted one like that once, Mike, too. Like where they'll be like, "Hey, assholes, why won't you accept my post?" I'm like, dude, do you accept us to allow you to post? Hey, assholes. Why won't you accept my post on our own page?
Part of a lot of this is, let's be honest, most people have no freaking clue what the First Amendment says.
Sure.
The reality of what it is.
Oh, of course.
And two, they have no idea how Facebook works. None.
Right.
And I will get probably once a month somebody who's like, why do you keep declining my post? So we don't approve every post. I approve the first post somebody will make. So if you're a new user and this is your first post, I will approve it because that's going to give me an idea of what you might be like. And if it's just a normal, good quality post, great, you're approved. At that point, then you're free to start posting and commenting. But that's what we set up. Facebook, as you guys know, has a lot of shit that runs behind the scenes that we don't know and we don't control.
Right.
Facebook has their own, quote, community standards. What the fuck does that mean? And, automated algorithms and AI that looks at a post and is like, nope, we're not going to let that go through.
Yep.
Before it even gets to us.
Yeah, marked as spam. I open that up and I was like, shit, that's been there for months.
So,
and it's not us.
And they'll be like, well, you keep declining my posts. I'm like, I haven't seen a single one of your posts. It doesn't come into my post approvals folder. Right. None of it. I'm like, it's a good chance Facebook did something to it. Well, fuck that. Blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I mean, you can cry all you want. It's just the way Facebook works. Do I love the way Facebook works? No. But we got to deal with it and live with it and accept it. If you don't like the way Facebook works, you got two options. You use it anyway, or you leave.
Yep.
That's it. You can't change Facebook. You can't change YouTube. You can't change Twitter. You can't change any of them that are out there. And what you probably didn't pay attention to is when you first signed up and it said, oh, please review this terms of service and click the agree button. You just scrolled all the way down and clicked agree.
Right.
You didn't read what it said in there, because I promise you, every single website, every single app has a little section somewhere in there of permitted use of our website or our app, which basically says, here's what you're allowed to do. Here's what you can't do. Here's what you can say. Here's what you can't say.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do that all they want, because going back to my first point, the First Amendment only protects freedom of speech from the government stopping you.
Right.
The government can't make rules or laws to prohibit what you can say.
That's right.
A private entity, Facebook is private, even though they're a publicly traded company, they're still a private company.
Mm-hmm.
Or you guys in your group or us in our group, an even smaller private entity, we can all set our own rules of what can be said and not said. And there is not a damn thing you can do about it if you don't like it. There isn't a single lawyer out there who's going to sit here and go, yeah, let's sue Tom and Zeus because the rules that they created in their Facebook group are prohibiting your freedom of speech. There isn't a single lawyer that's going to go, yeah, that I'm going to win that.
That's
case.
a winning case. Yeah,
that's a winning case.
Mike, you may not know, I'm an attorney. I used to do a lot of real estate closings, and I'd go in and be like, this is the mortgage. It's 15 pages. These are the terms. Okay, you sign here. They're like, hold on a second. They're looking at it like, oh, clause 20. I'm not happy with that language. I'd like to change this. I'm like, yeah. Let me go get Mr. Wells and Mr. Fargo right in the back and tell them that Mr. and Mrs. Smith are just not happy with the generic, clause that's in there. And they're just going to change it and sign it. That's not how fucking life works. You want this house. You want this mortgage. Those are the terms. You either sign it or you don't. And I go home. You tell me. Yeah. This is the fucking mentality that some people have, that they feel like they're emboldened. That people get the wrong impression about fighting for censorship and free speech. It's nonsense. And KISS fans are no different.
There is no free speech anywhere on the internet.
Nope.
No.
Not a single place.
Nope.
People go, well, what about Reddit? No, Reddit's got rules.
Yep.
What about some of these dark web, groups and messages? They will sit there. Oh, and I don't want this to turn political. Well, what about Truth Social? Hey, I know people who've been banned on Truth Social for what they said.
Of course.
Every single thing on the internet has their own rules that you have to follow. Now, a lot of them, including us, we can be pretty lax on it. I mean, until it blows up and turns into a nightmare, and then it's like, all right, you fucking broke the rule. Get the hell out of here. There is no free speech anywhere on the internet. No matter who is trying to convince you otherwise, it does not exist, for the simple reason it doesn't have to exist. and they won't allow it to exist for their own legal protections.
Right.
They can't permit you to do certain things because, oh, well, if I wanted to say I wanted to buy a weapon in this Facebook group and then you went out and murdered somebody with it, well, that group is going to be brought into some freaking lawsuit somewhere.
Yep.
You know, so Facebook puts these rules in and we put this shit in, and every destination on the internet puts them in to protect their business, and they can do it. And the Constitution allows them to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the simple reality of the world we live in. But let's also remind people, you know, that Constitution that we love here in the U.S., it doesn't apply to other countries.
Right.
So you could cry all you want about free speech here, but you could be in some other country in the Middle East and they ain't got free speech.
Yeah,
so
good luck with that.
Good luck with trying to manage the rules for everybody around the world. You can't do it. So it comes back to just be a well-behaved adult.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Speaking of well-behaved adults, I want to bring up one other type of Kiss fan or kind of mentality that Zeus and I deal with a lot. So I do want to get to this eventually before we let you go, Mike, about the whole Kiss Storms Vegas event in November. When that event was announced, and this is what happens from doing a Kiss podcast for this long and being surrounded by so many different kinds of fans, negative and positive, a lot of negative, is my instinct. I said to Zeus, I go, dude, I don't know if I'm excited about this because this is going to be a fucking disaster with the worst kinds of Kiss fans here. I said, you're going to see people like me and you and some of our friends that we've made, through the podcast community. We're going to have a great time because we're going, but it's going to be invaded by the people that kind of we're talking about right now, the people that love everything they do, the people that think we suck, the people that are going to suck all the oxygen out of every room in that event for the entire weekend. And it's almost like transference like mentality where it's like, I want to go, but I don't know if I want to be around these people because look at what they do.
I get what you're saying because, I mean, honestly, that's what the Kiss Cruise has always been.
Yeah,
and you know, shirt. And I honestly never went on the Kiss Cruise for one primary reason. My daughter's birthday is November 1st, so the cruise always fell around or on her birthday. And I'm like, God damn, if I'm going to go on a Kiss Cruise and miss my daughter's birthday, I mean, I got priorities in my life.
Right.
And I've joked about it, but there's some truth to this. I also don't want to be stuck on a boat with 5,000 Kiss crazies.
Which is why this Vegas thing we call it's the cruise without a boat, which makes you feel a little bit safer because you can escape if you need to.
Well, I was going to say at least here in Vegas, you could go leave the hotel and go somewhere else in Vegas and get away from them. You know, I mean, here's the other thing. What I've learned. First of all, the crazies in the online world are thankfully a small percentage of the overall fan community.
Yeah.
It's that way with every band. They just got a great mouthpiece on social media. They can make so much freaking noise.
They're the loudest.
They can make all the noise they want. Mm-hmm. But if you meet people in person, and listen, since 95, I've gone to all sorts of conventions and shows and tours and events, and I've met so many people. Not once have I ever had anybody who was a hater or a psycho or a crazy come up to me face to face and get in my face and go off on me and attack. They don't because they don't have the balls to do that away from their keyboard.
Of course. Absolutely.
They don't have the balls to do that when they can't be anonymous about it.
That's right. And they also don't have the balls to do it when they're not part of a mob, a crowd of like-minded Kiss fans that are the worst of the worst usually.
So I don't think for a second that's going to happen in Vegas. Honestly, I'm not going to Vegas for the simple reason of I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a Kiss event. I love Kiss. I absolutely love Kiss.
Right.
I've gone around the world to see Kiss, but I've also got more important things in my life. Again, my daughter, my family, my business. I could spend $3,000 to $5,000 on a lot more important things that would bring me happiness than hanging out in Vegas with a bunch of Kiss fans. And you know, honestly, seeing probably the same band I've seen so many times, hearing the same song so many times. Again, as I say all that, if you're gonna go, are going, I hope you have an amazing time. I'm sure you will have an amazing time.
Right.
But for me, I just right now, as for what's been announced, I'm not sitting there going, "Oh my God, this is the coolest thing in the fucking world." It's just
it's the Kiss cruise in a hotel.
It's a Kiss cruise meets a Kiss convention.
That's it.
And, you know, there's something to be said about just the unofficial fan conventions where you don't have to spend $5,000 to do this.
Yeah.
You know, God bless them if this works. And frankly, I'm sure it's going to work. I'm sure it'll end up being a blast and turn out just fine for Kiss and Pop House and everybody else. But there's nothing on my arm. I got no goosebumps on my arms going, "Ooh, I can't wait for this." No, this didn't excite me.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because all these events kind of died for a while after Kiss retired. And it kind of got quiet out there. And all of a sudden now Kiss is active. So you got Off the Soundboard. You got talks of box sets. You got Kisses Vegas. So everybody's really excited again. But like a lot of the stuff, I think people overvalue Kiss's importance in the music world. Kiss fans run out and buy this shit. You know, in the beginning, the first day, that Vegas thing, people thought it was already sold out. They're still selling tickets. They haven't finished selling the thing out.
No, as far as I know, all they've sold out are the top two levels. The most go figure. The most expensive,
but there are fewer of them
have sold out.
Yeah, and there's a lot fewer of those. So you have everybody trying to get in on those packages, but there could be as little as 100 of them versus a couple thousand of the other seats and tickets that are available that still haven't sold out.
Right.
So that ought to be interesting to see what happens. Do they sell out, or do they overplay their hand?
No, I'm not worried one bit. We're April.
Mm-hmm.
This event isn't until November,
and they're going to keep trickling out things to entice people.
They're going to keep trickling out new special guests and who's appearing and everything else.
Yep.
This is quite typical of any band touring sort of live event. The first week, 2 weeks, something is announced, big sales right out of the box.
Yep.
Right.
Then it gets quiet until about a month out, and then sales pick up again.
Yep.
I honestly, again, I'm not worried. Listen, this whole event is being put on the company Vibey, whatever they're called.
Vibey.
That's owned by Live Nation. There isn't a company on this planet that knows how to market and sell and have data on ticket sales for live events. Can't do a better job than Live Nation can. I'm just sorry. Love them or hate them, Live Nation knows what the fuck they're doing. They're not going to invest all this time and money on something that in a boardroom somebody's like, well, it's a 50-50 shot. I'm like, well, 50-50 shot? Now we ain't doing that.
Right.
They're doing this because they know it's going to work.
Yeah.
Live Nation has been doing Kiss tours and events for decades. They know our buying habits. They know where we live. They know how much money we spend. They know how many shows we go to by all sorts of bands in every given year. They got the data. This is what makes me laugh about the fans who think they know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, you my first question is, so do you work in the music industry? No, I don't. I'm auto sales. Okay, that's fine. But you have no experience then in the music industry. You do not know anything about how shows, live events are promoted, are marketed, how they sell. But yet you're going to sit here and tell Live Nation they're a fucking idiot because they don't know what they're doing. I mean, these guys put on the biggest frickin' events in the world. And you want to go down one level, it's like, okay, don't talk about Live Nation. Kiss has been doing this for 50 years.
They know what they're doing.
They also know what they're doing. Gene and Paul know what they're doing much more than every single fan chiming in about how it could be done better.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And the other thing I wanted to mention too, on top of the other big thing that has Kiss fans in a frenzy, and if you say anything bad about this, you're a hater and you're a terrible person, is Peter Criss's reemergence of him announcing an album and doing that performance at that drum event, whatever. And look, we love Peter, especially on this show. It's Zeus's guy, and I love Peter too. And I'm glad that he's healthy and that he's upright and he's out there. But, I mean, is that how you want to remember your heroes? I mean, I'm not saying that it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's one of those things where if you didn't know any different, you would think he just came out and sang Black Diamond in front of 20,000 people and it sounded like 1975. Because, again, we can't criticize it because it's Peter. And that's kind of my point, is that now that Kiss is retired and old and a legacy act and going to be doing these special events, you really have to, really, I guess, have balls, unfortunately, to speak honestly about what's happening, because the swarm is going to come after you. And you just have to be prepared for that if you don't love everything that Pop House is going to do or that Peter is going to do on his own. Yeah,
I mean, regarding Peter, and we haven't talked about it on Three Side yet because it happened after our last episode. Hey, listen, God bless them.
Yeah, exactly.
My take is the only person that should care about this is Peter himself.
Right.
If this is how Peter wants to end his career and this makes him happy, what I think is worthless.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything. There isn't a single fan out here that your opinion matters. Peter's doing what Peter wants to do, and God bless Peter for doing that. Now, me as a Kiss fan, I will be excited to hear this, only because I want to see if this is truly a rock album. I want to see how this compares to the last solo album he did, which, in my opinion, was a complete train wreck. But I love Kiss. I love everything that's been around and in Kiss, and Peter's got my support until
me too.
Till the very end. Right. I will buy Peter Criss's new album on CD or vinyl, whatever it's available on, to support the guy, because he's brought me so much freaking happiness and made my life what it is over the last many decades. It's the least I could do is fucking put out $25 and say, thanks, Peter, you did one more album.
Sure.
Do I have to love it? No. And am I going to fake loving it just to impress others? No. Am I going to fake hating it so the haters support me? No. I don't care what. It's funny. We say this so much on Three Sides. We don't care. We don't care. Do you want to stop listening? I tell people, hit the stop button. I don't care. We get nothing out of this podcast other than us being happy. Mm-hmm. And back to what we were talking about a lot earlier, it's like anybody who starts a podcast to get something out of it, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's true.
I've told, again, as I've given people advice on podcasts, you're not going to make any money podcasting. No money. You're not getting rich out of this. even the numbers that we might get on three sides of the coin, we're not making freaking money off of this. I mean, we're a blip in the radar of major mainstream media. We are nothing.
Right.
You're not going to get rich. Do it because you're happy and it makes you happy. At the end of the day, that's the only reason you should do this. So I'm happy we do our podcast. If you're not happy listening to it, hit the stop button. I don't care because I'm going to keep doing what I love. And now you're going to be happy because you don't have to listen. We're all happy in the end. But, you know, again, back to Peter, it's the same thing. It's like, dude, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. God bless him for doing this. I had no clue this was coming down the pike. It was a great surprise to see that announcement that he did with Julian.
Sure.
Good for him. That's all I can say is good for Peter. I mean, you know, I've always said same thing about Ace Frehley. Up until 10,000 Volts, I never liked any of his recent solo albums. I thought they were terrible. But I still told people, get off your butt and go buy a CD so you can support the guy so he can make another CD. If he doesn't sell CDs, there's no more new music coming out.
That's right.
That's just the simple truth of the way the industry works.
Yep.
Are we going to get another Peter Criss album after this one? I highly doubt it. Will we get Peter doing tours? I can almost guarantee you Peter's not going to do a tour. He might do a one-off show in New York City to support the release. I think this album is just Peter being a creative artist who had that bug in him for years he wanted to create something and he did. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, you've got to be an artist to understand that urge. And, you know, to some extent as podcasters, we are all artists. We're a different kind of artist, but we're not doing this to make money. We're not doing this to get plays. We're not doing this to get tickets. We're doing this because we feel like we just need to get something out and say something. And that's it. That's the only reason why, in my opinion, a true creative artist should do it. The second you start trying to be creative or don't be creative, I hate the freaking artists who say, we're never going to record another album because there's no market to sell it. Fuck you. That's not why you're an artist, is it?
Did you hear that, Paul?
Yeah.
Gene?
No. I mean,
right?
Same thing. Hey, we've said that. It's like, hey, Gene, Paul, when these guys in Cheap Trick keep cranking out albums, and I can guarantee you they're not selling much at all. No. But they're doing it because they're fucking creative and they have the urge to write and record something, not because they can make $2 million doing it.
That was one of the worst quotes. That was one of the worst quotes from Gene.
Yeah, I will say this: it's an insult to your fans. Hey, you've been buying all my shit, but you know, if I'm not going to make any money, I'm not doing this because I like it or like you. Or
I have commented on that multiple times where I'm just like, fuck the artists who get that sort of attitude of, no, there's no record labels anymore, and I'll only sell 150,000 copies, so I can't make any money doing this. It's like, fuck you.
There's 150,000 people that will be happy with that.
You're an artist. You're supposed to be an artist because you want to create. Correct. You're not an artist because there's a market for you to sell your product in.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I hate musicians who cop that as the excuse why there will be no more new music. So to see Peter sit here and record this and release it,
it's awesome.
God bless you, Peter. Thank you very much. Because, I don't know the backstory. Maybe he paid for this himself. Maybe he got $10,000 from some private fan that said, I'll help you do this. He didn't get, like back in the day where you get $500,000, $1 million from a record label to go record something. He's doing this on his own because he freaking wants to.
That's awesome. No, it's awesome. But you know what's funny? You mentioned it. I'm going to jump back to, we were talking about podcasts, and if you're doing this, you should be doing it because you like it. I find it kind of amusing lately, and you brought it up on your show, and I remember this because you were talking about how Mark gets to know about Pop House and things like that, and I find myself nodding, agreeing with you. I'm like, okay, Mark knows. Do you think Mark's going to die with that? And the only one who knows was Mark Cicchini? No, this shit's going to come out and we'll all find out whatever they're doing. It's not a big deal. Everyone's like, oh, I need to know right now. And so because of this whole Pop House kind of thoughts and the Kiss now finally back in the news, I find it aggravating and annoying and almost humorous. These people that the second something comes out, have to stop what they're doing and jump online. And you mentioned it because I don't know if that was a shot, but you're like, I'm not going online at 10 in the morning to jump online because off the soundboard just got released and open up and start a podcast episode about it.
I have a job at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I got a life. I've got a life.
Thank
I got
you.
Family. I got a kid.
There is so much
time
of that.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean,
I remember you guys talking about it on the episode, and I was dying laughing because I felt like it was a shot. And I'm like, exactly.
The last episode that just came out, somebody posted, how bad is it that you guys aren't even talking about the Peter Criss album? And I'm like, we recorded this over a week ago. It wasn't even known at the time.
Yep.
We have that happen too.
But even then, I'm not going to, new Kiss news. I'm dropping everything and I'm recording an episode and putting it up. For what reason?
Mike,
what am I gaining from that?
We had someone send us a question and asked us if we were going to skip the episode we recorded and record a new one because Peter announced that he was going to do an album. I'm like, are you fucking insane now?
We'll all get to it. We'll all talk about it at some point. What is the point?
This is life
it's not CNN.
It's not NFL free agency rule. Oh, I broke it first. Tom Brady's signing with the Seahawks.
I mean, listen, I can only imagine, and I hate to be a downer like this. There's probably only one thing that will cause us to drop everything and get on and record an episode.
If somebody dies.
When a member of Kiss dies.
I agree with that.
But a tour announcement, an album announcement, a Vegas.
We'll get to it next week.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. We always get to this stuff. And I've always said this, people are like, well, what are you going to do when Kiss is no more? And I'm like, well, first of all, Kiss is never going to be no more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But guess what? When Kiss stops touring, the sun is still going to rise the next morning. Life goes on.
Mike, don't say that too loud. There are people that don't believe you.
A freaking rock band. They are not life and death. And I'm saying this as somebody who my life has been incredibly changed for the better.
Yeah,
because of this band.
Of course, we all are.
They are just a band.
That's right.
Thank you. They're not our identity. And that's the thing Tom and I laugh about. Oh. It's not our identity. Like, you find these personalities, like, what would they be doing if they want, everybody knows them as like Kiss people. Like, most of my friends don't know I have a Kiss podcast. The people I work with, I would say about 75% of the people don't know about this podcast. And I'm okay with it. I have my own identity. I don't need the podcast. The podcast is for me and my best friend from college to have a fucking blast.
That's
talking about a band we love and saying stupid, childish toilet humor jokes and having fun. It's not like, and this is what the kind of the thing that we're talking about, Tom was saying about going to Vegas, that mentality where we saw it in New York. Oh my God, did you get the newspaper? Did you get the trolley card? Oh, people walking out with like 40 things of newspapers with them. You're like,
Pizza boxes.
Pizza boxes. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I didn't even go to the last shows in New York.
And I would say you like Kiss, right?
I love Kiss. I have been a fan since 1976. I haven't stopped.
Yep.
The people who know, I worked with Kiss for many years.
Yes.
Yep.
I saw Kiss on the End of the Road tour once when they came to my town.
It was
the same show, the 10 we saw. No different, probably.
So, but at the same time, it's like, okay, these are the last 2 shows of the End of the Road tour. And I'm telling people, I'm like, I don't think it's the last shows of Kiss. I'm listening to what Gene and Paul have said over and over in interviews.
You hear that, D. Snyder, right?
It's the last 2 shows of Kiss ever touring.
That's right.
It's the last big Kiss production. Will Kiss perform again? Even Gene and Paul, in interviews on the End of the Road, multiple times said, there's nothing that will prevent us from doing one-off shows, residencies, acoustic performances. I'm like, so I'm not going to, again, drop thousands of dollars, fly across the country, go to New York City to see the last Kiss show, only to have a year later, guess what? It's not the last Kiss show.
It's so true.
They never, and listen, you can get as pissed as you want. They never lied.
No, they didn't.
Plenty of freaking in it. You just didn't listen.
Yeah, I was just
to what they
listen.
said.
Exactly. 100%.
You didn't listen. It's the last time Kiss will ever tour.
That's right.
Tour as a band. I'm just like, no. So, and I kept telling people, I'm like, I think there's a Vegas residency in the future. Now,
I've been saying that for years.
Is the upcoming event considered a Vegas residency? Not in my book. I still think there's a Vegas residency.
Yeah, the avatars. The avatars.
Well, not even that. I still think there could be a real Kiss Vegas residency.
I've been saying that for years. So that's what my thought was.
I mean, here's again, a bit morbid. The only time that's never going to happen is when Gene or Paul are dead.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as they are alive and physically able to walk out onto a stage, it could still happen. It can still happen. And I'm not saying that with inside knowledge because I'm not inside the Kiss camp anymore.
Wait a minute. I thought you were on the payroll.
Yeah.
You're on the payroll, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. I cleared everything I'm saying here with Gene and Paul before I came
this has been all Pop House approved, this interview.
I'm not in the camp. I'm just going off of, listen, I've been a fan, like I said, since 1976. So I know how these guys work.
Mm-hmm.
I also have been working in the music industry for decades. I know how marketing and promotion works in the music industry. And I just, listen, if you pay attention to Gene and Paul over decades, nothing surprises you. Nothing should surprise you. If you're surprised and shocked, are you really a Kiss fan? Are you a real Kiss fan if you're surprised and shocked? Because you shouldn't be. You shouldn't. Anything is possible with these guys. Anything is.
I know.
So don't count them out. Don't count events out. It's just, at the end of the day, just have fun, people. Just, don't surround yourself with what makes you miserable and unhappy. And this is coming. Listen, I just turned 60 years old. This is something you learn with age. I know I'm sitting here talking like grandpa to the kids, but I can look back and I remember when I was 25, 35, even 40-ish. None of this meant much. That didn't mean much to me. I was always concerned. When you're younger, you are concerned about what other people think about you. you get to a point in your life where you're like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
Yep.
Because those people aren't in my life. Why would I spend a single waking moment worrying about some stranger and what they say about me? And to go along with that, you're like, and I don't have the time to waste being unhappy about a band. If I don't like a band, I don't talk about the band.
That's right.
I don't listen to the
Isn't
band.
that a great thought? We laugh about it all the time.
like
There's
a
still
novel.
people that come on our site. They'll be like, Kiss sucks. Dude, I don't like Ricky Martin. I'm not looking for Ricky Martin groups out there.
Exactly.
It's just being like, yeah, Ricky Martin sucks. What's the matter with you people?
Why aren't you hanging out on the band pages that you like, that make you happy, and surround yourself with that sort of stuff? Why surround yourself with negative? And it's just like, we've always had that saying on Three Sides, forget the haters, we won.
Yep.
Which is in general about Kiss fans, Kiss, everything in general. I mean, if you're an old enough Kiss fan, you can remember back to a point in time where you took a lot of shit for liking Kiss.
Yeah.
Again, I've shared this many times. I remember in '79 liking Kiss, going, I'm going to wear my Dynasty shirt to school.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. If I do that, I know I'm going to, honest to God, vivid memory. I know I'm going to take shit today if I wear my Kiss shirt to school.
Yep.
But fuck it. I love this band so much, I'm going to wear it. And sure enough, throughout the day, fucking Kiss sucks, man. Led Zeppelin rules. Deep Purple blows Kiss away.
Yep.
Kiss can't play. It's like all day long of that. All those people hating on Kiss. Here we are 50 years later. Kiss is still here at the top, successful as could be. Where's your band?
Right.
Where's your band? And it's like, forget the haters. We won. We're happy. We put up with this shit. But back then, those haters were Zeppelin fans and Deep Purple fans and Yes fans, and pick any other band out of the 70s.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, there you go.
You even go into the early 80s, the REO fans, the Pat Benatar fans. And listen, I'm not dissing on those bands and what they can do, because God knows Led Zeppelin we wouldn't have Kiss without Led Zeppelin. But those were the fans of those bands. Now, fast forward to 2025, who are the haters? It's the Kiss fans themselves that are hating on other Kiss fans.
Imagine. I know.
I mean, who would have guessed in '79? That's why we were the Kiss Army, because we all banded together because we all like the same thing. Now we're here in 2025 and you got Kiss fans hating you for liking Kiss. It's like, Then if you hate these guys so much, if you hate Gene, if you hate Paul, if you hate everything they've done, if they touched you in the wrong way,
show us.
Then fucking go.
Oh yeah, I love that when you're like, show us on the Paul doll where he hurt you.
Yeah, show us where Gene forced you to spend $12,000 to be his roadie. He didn't. So shut up.
Exactly.
Well, that's a great way to wrap it up, with Mike Brandvold telling our listeners to shut up. I love it. It's perfect. Mike, Mike Brandvold, Three Sides of the Coin, Tommy and Mark and Lisa and all them. They're great. Mike, this has been amazing. We love sharing some time with you and just kind of venting and kind of a little bit of a mini Festivus.
Anything you want to plug, Mike?
Yeah. Anything you want to plug?
Besides the show, they know where to find you.
You know where to find Three Sides of the Coin. Yep. And if you're a fan over in Europe, I've been working with Wasp for 4 years. They've got a big European UK tour coming up this summer and fall.
Nice.
Blackie, for the most part, at every show, unless it's a festival, is playing the entire Wasp debut album,
woohoo,
start to finish.
Nice.
And fans have been loving it. I mean,
awesome.
and this is the only time he's going to do that. And, once these tours are done, he's done playing that album from start to finish. Nice. He'll still play some of the better hits, but
Nice.
You'll have a great time there. I mean, Wasp is right in the wheelhouse of KISS fans.
Yep. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, Mike Brandvold, 3 sides of the coin. Mike, thank you so much for all your time. We
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate it. We had a ton of fun. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Tom, that was Mike Branvold.
Yeah, so great conversation. Exactly what I thought we were going to get. You know, it was good.
We just added him to the group, too, between Brian Tichy, Tracy Guns, Matt Pinfield, Eddie Trunk, and Chris Jericho.
The talker group. Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, Zeus, and I'm telling you right now, I know we can't do this, so bear with me because I'm kind of being a little tongue-in-cheek. If we could create some kind of Shout It Out Loudcast After Dark off the record podcast, this is the 2 straight interviews where the non-recorded part is longer than the episode part. Yeah. Mike was on with us for about another hour after we stopped recording. Yeah, kind of like we do with Jason Herndon, kind of like we do with Brian Tichy. It's becoming a new thing now, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, we should record it for the Patreon people.
I know.
But the thing is, like him or hate him, he's pretty much a straight shooter. So he's going to tell you what he's thinking. And I wanted to hear because I know he's not going to pussyfoot around. So when I tell him and I vent about certain types of posts we get from people or comments we get from people or the type of KISS fans, I know he's not thinking, well, I don't want to piss anybody else off and have them not like my podcast, footy pajama shit. Exactly. I know he's going to say, well, this is how I deal with it. And I wanted somebody to give us an honest perspective on what it's like being on our side of the microphone, right?
Right. And the other thing too, and let's be clear here, just like, stand-up comedians or, some people like, the wholesome, funny dad joke comedians, they have a place. Some people like the filthy dark humor guys. Those have a place. My point is, podcasting is similar. Like there's something for everybody. We've been saying this since the get-go, but for the way me and Zeus are, and I don't know if it's our Boston upbringing or what, like we are very bad bullshitters because we don't. That's not part of our DNA. We can't pretend to like something or pretend to hate something. Everything that you hear on this show for the past 300 plus episodes, including the interview with Mike. This is how we are when we're not recording. This is how I am at work. And thank God I'm in the line of work where my attitude won't get me fired. Because if I worked in a business environment, I'd get fucking fired. Because this is how I am when the mic's not on. So, but again, and like Zeus said, some people, maybe we're too abrasive or we're too harsh or not cuddly enough. I get it. That's fine. Fine. But we like to think we offer something that you're really not going to get anywhere else. And if you do get it anywhere else, it might be 3 sides because those guys are kind of similar.
But it won't be as funny.
No, of course it won't be as funny.
But the aspect of it is like that both of us, I say it to Tom all the time. This happens. How many times have I told you, I can't do it, dude. I can't. I
know.
And whether that be a fucking text group.
Yep.
Where I'm like, I can't do this. I'm out.
Can't do it anymore.
I just can't be fake. I can't put up with it. So the best thing I need to do is get the fuck out of it because I can't deal with this shit.
100%.
So, and I can't do the phoniness or, oh, gee, I'm sorry you disagree with me, this and that. Mike's right. It's my fucking podcast. It's my fucking show. It's my Facebook fucking group.
Yep.
You want me to post an article where you post your comment where you call me an asshole? No. I don't give a fuck.
That would be the equivalent of you coming into my house and you calling me an asshole and me letting you stay in my house.
Oh wait, don't leave. I got food in the fridge too. Do you want me to serve you?
Don't you want to play with my Nintendo? Come on.
Oh no, that's reserved for people that want friends.
Oh, that's good point.
The one that mom buys them Nintendo so he can make friends in the neighborhood.
Where are all your friends?
Yeah. Well, regardless, right? We wanted you guys to kind of get a perspective from us. Yep. Podcast has been doing this for a few years. We're not like Mike's been doing it fucking, fucking almost double the time we've been doing it.
Yeah.
God bless them. They're successful at what they do.
Yep.
Say what you want. And I have no problem saying that I listen to it, but I don't listen to all their shows. I pick and choose. And I assume that you guys do that with us. Some episodes you want to hear, some episodes you don't. But then there are people that fucking get annoyed, but they tune in. They want to hear it. And it is what it is. Look, there's a reason why two guys from Boston with no music experience, no podcasting experience.
Nope.
Shot up to be the number one Kiss podcast.
Right.
Right? And it's not a fucking parody. I know, because a lot of you listeners have been sending us shit. It's not a fucking parody where, we repeat that because it's funny to say we're the number one podcast because we're obviously not. But for us, we obviously are. The next time someone says something like that, you ask them, where did your podcast episode rank this month? Oh, I forgot. It doesn't.
Right.
So it is what it is. People are trolling, people are being funny. There's no hard feelings. Nobody fucking hates anybody out here. No one's being vindictive.
I'm kidding.
But regardless, it's all good. You can like us. You can sit there and go, I want to fucking break down who the engineer and their sounds from, on this album, this and that, and go to fucking Kiss FAQ and nerd out.
Right.
And really enjoy their episodes. Great.
I listen to them because I like nerding out.
I can't. But that's
okay.
just me.
Yeah. That's
all right.
Okay.
Or you can go to the footy pajama peoples and do a circle jerk about how happy life is and be upset that people have opinions that don't match yours.
Right.
But if you like that, it's okay. You don't have to not listen to them because you want to listen only to us. It's not a fucking problem. Or you can want entertainment.
Right.
And you'd listen to us.
That's right.
So it's there for everybody. And what I want to kind of end this with, as far as I go, I enjoy hearing Mike's perspective. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with us or him or both of us. But we wanted to put this episode out there and have this conversation and kind of hear what you're saying. Now, if we get a fucking ton of shit or awesome feedback, it is what it is. We'll deal with it. But I feel better about having this episode out there and getting this off our chest.
Oh, yeah. It's like a palate cleanser. It's a purge. Yeah. And again, you can love it. You can hate it. You can listen to us. You can never listen to us. You can tell your friends how great this episode is and get more people to listen. It's okay. It's okay. And that's why we do this, because we can't please everybody. And when you try to please everyone, as I said during the interview with Mike, when you try to please everyone, you just become you become a parody. You become a phony, a fake, and there's no authenticity. And then you start to lose your luster, and no one wants to hear you. So
yeah. And the other thing too that I don't want to get this off my chest too is, and again, we get this shit because people send us this shit.
People send us. There's a lot that goes on behind
and
the
we
scenes.
Appreciate it, but
we do.
It is what it is. We don't really care, but there's no fucking jealousy. We don't want to punch down. We don't want to punch down constantly. I think it doesn't do anything but elevate the people you're punching down to.
Of course.
But there is no jealousy over success of other people.
Never. There never has been.
Yeah. Three Sides destroys all of us. If you go by YouTube numbers and all that stuff.
That's right. And good for them.
They destroy all of us. Okay. Yep. We're not competing with them. Okay. It is what it is. But we don't sit there and say, yeah, we're the number one Kiss YouTube fucking channel.
No.
It's stupid and it's a lie.
Yeah, the whole jealousy thing, honestly, is quite bizarre because it reminds me of
comments. It's the people that got onto Pop House. They want to feel.
I get it.
That it's something to go after us about, because it's something to say, well, you're jealous because they picked up. Dude, you guys are buddies with LaRue for fucking 10 years. He doesn't. We don't even know him.
Right. If you don't recognize why you got picked by Pop House, then I don't know what to tell you.
Because of your unique opinion or thoughts. You buy shit. You do merch with them. You fucking friends with them. Congratulations. Nobody gives a fuck.
And I can tell you right now, one of the reasons we're not jealous is because, first of all, I said this way back, and then I'll wrap it up here because I know we're going off on tangents. if by chance Pop House picked us, you think we'd be able to continue to do the show the way we do it right now? No fucking way. We'd be code holders. We'd be another media wing. We'd be the one putting out press releases about how they fucked up the Asylum t-shirt. That's not what we do.
Yeah, it wouldn't. He'd get kicked off in about a week.
Oh my God. We'd be bounced.
They'd listen to one episode of you talking about Paul and they'd be like, fuck these guys.
Fuck these guys. Exactly. But anyways.
But it is what it is. And that's the sad part about this. There is no fucking rivalry, bullshit, any of that stuff, guys out there. Okay. We're pretty happy getting the George Lopez's, the Jerky Boys, the fucking other great guests we get on. And they don't come on here because we do fucking minuscule numbers.
No.
Okay. No, they don't. They come on because they know we're the number one Kiss podcast and we have stats to prove it. And that's why we get our guests.
Right.
So it is what it is. Anyway,
right.
I think this was great.
I love
much power to all you out there. Anybody who wants to interpret this the wrong way, well, I feel bad for you. But regardless, this was fun. So
Agreed.
Tom, let's go to question of the week.
All right, so our question of the week comes here via email from Joey Dunn, Dunn. Zeus, he says, I know Tom likes his what ifs. Maybe you covered this before. But what would have happened if Ace and Peter never left the band? I know that Kiss was pretty adaptable musically as music styles changed, but I don't see Ace and Peter playing a lot of the music that Kiss played that they did with the newer members in the 80s and 90s. I wonder if they would have become one of those bands that were huge for a time and then were on one of those 80s rock cruises. It's a great question. Zeus, you want to start?
I think that's probably right on the nose. They can't be in that hair metal battle with Peter and Ace. I mean, come on, let's be honest. No way could they survive that. The music wouldn't be the same. It'd be the classic Kiss sound. It wouldn't be. Imagine fucking Kiss trying to do with Peter and Ace Under the Gun or Give Me More.
No. I mean, it's funny. I said this like a while ago. I don't know if somebody asked a question similar to this or if we just had a discussion. I said this, that if Eric and Tommy never came along, Kiss would be headlining the Monsters of Rock cruise, or they'd be doing these little. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, good luck. God bless you. If you go to them, we have friends that go to those every year. That's fine. But I think that's what would have happened. I think Kiss would have gone the way of just becoming a nostalgic festival type of band that, you know, the ironic thing is if they did that, they still would have played the same fucking set list. Nothing would have changed.
Yeah, you get that right.
But yeah, first of all, I don't think they would have made it too far into the 80s. I think they may have gone. They probably could have made it to like Lick It Up, maybe Animalize, and then I think that would have been the end of the band. I don't think they would have never continued. But you're right. I do love what ifs. I always think they're entertaining. So Joey, thank you very much for the question. Lots of fun there. So, and people, you chime in. What do you think would happen if Peter and Ace stayed around? Who knows?
Yeah. Tom, where can people find us?
Our website's always the best place, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's where you can find all of our episodes, Shout It Out Loudcast, Dorm Damage, Album Review Crew, Zeppelin Chronicles. They're all there, as well as all of our links to social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky. They're all there. Links to our Patreon, links to our Amazon shopping page, and of course, links to our Shout It Out Loudcast merch page. Tons of cool stuff there. And the website has been refreshed and updated, and it looks great now. It's easy to navigate, so please check it out. There's a lot there. And of course, you can send us emails at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We do a question of the week every week like we do with Joey this week. So please, that's probably the best way to do that. And of course, we always like to say that we're a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Yeah, you can always DM us Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, motherfucker. We're also on Blue Sky now, too. I think Wobbly Magoo is the only one who really kind of comments and stuff on that one, but there's a few. Check out our Spotify playlist. When we put them up, you would go to our profile, not the actual podcast page, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
YouTube.
And give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can. It's a great help to us. It moves us up the food chain. And we actually got a new one, Tom.
Yes, go ahead.
This is from North Dakota Pro Wrestling Fool.
Wow. That's a very specific name.
It's not Jim the Wrestling Goon from WEI, but
I love that guy.
Oh, my God. Remember him? This says, excellent, 5 stars, new to the podcast. Lifelong Kiss fan, absolutely love the show. It's great to hear different opinions of true Kiss fans. It's so refreshing to listen to this show. Keep up the great work. This has quickly become my favorite podcast. Well, North Dakota Pro Wrestling Fool, you need to let us know who you are so we can thank you. Send us a message on social media or an email at shoutitoutloudcast.com so we can thank you properly. Much appreciated. And if you can do that for us, we'll certainly give you a shout out on the air and a thank you as well.
Yes,
Tom, I always want to repeat the website, shoutitoutloudcast.com, shoutitoutloudcast.com. And let's end on famous last words. Do you have any?
Oh, of course. And baby, won't you let me? I think I'm going out of my head. I'm just about to, ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in honor of Mike Branvold's love of Crazy Nights, I'll go here. It's a ritual slaying, but the tables are turned. Oh, no. And now he's praying. But it's his turn to burn.
Oh, nice.
Mike Brandvold, Tom, Kiss Army, Loudcasters, thank you.
Mike Brandvold, much appreciated. Thank you. Kiss Tards, Patreons, Loudcasters, everybody out there. And Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide Kiss Tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?